and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Control, and we are live from the 336 once again for episode 189 of the 815 Exchange. And well, we back at it another week. This week maybe not as strong in terms of content. Well, you know what I mean? I say that, and this is going to be one of those once again where I, open the intro and I'm like, hey, we didn't have nothing too crazy this past week, but it was still a pretty full week. And then this ends up being, a forever podcast. So we'll see. All right, we'll see. I still have a sprained finger, which at this point I'm sure it's a sprained finger. So I probably need to go to the hospital and get that checked out, but we are thugging it out for another episode of the 815 Exchange. We got Champions League, end of the round of 16. Who's going to the quarters? We got the end of conference championship week on the men's side in college basketball, and March Madness brackets are out, so let the chaos begin. And of course, we have some stuff to talk about in NFL free agency. I also will include the clip that I did on TikTok, so if you're not following me there, by the way, all of my social media links can be found in the description, so if you want to follow me there, keep up with me and my guys' day-to-day life or whenever I feel like posting, to be frankly honest with you. That is in the intro or in the outro, should I say, and also in the description along with everything else you're looking for in this live timestamps embedded in the video, also in the description. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I said, let's do this classic. We used to a long time ago start off with the Champions League / soccer, so let's do it one more time. Round of 16. It's time for these second legs, and boy, oh boy, we had some very interesting developments here. We're going to start off, of course, with probably, if, depending on, which team you're a fan of, might have been game of the week, might have been. Besides that Man U Liverpool game on the weekend, that was insane. Didn't put that in the notes, but that was an insane game. But Arsenal, all right, Arsenal takes out Porto on penalties. All right, they were down 1-0 going into, leg two. Tussar got it done in, I think, the 30th, 40th minute. Gave them a 1-0 advantage. Of course, there's no away goals ruling anymore in the Champions League, so that means we're going to extra time. Couldn't score in extra time. End up going to penalties, and who would be the savior for Arsenal? Or would they choke and give the Portuguese giants, Porto, would they give them the opportunity to advance to the quarters? And ladies and gentlemen, David Raya stood on his head. Two massive saves in the penalty shootout, and that was all she wrote. All right, that was all she wrote. Arsenal goes perfect from the spot. They're able to get it done, but yeah, I cannot say enough about David Raya's performance really throughout this game, keeping a clean sheet, and then in pins. Those two saves, just momentum changers, all right? Penalties, a lot of it, it's a lot the mental game, and a lot of the mental game in pins is momentum. Which side has momentum? And when you lose momentum, can you stay stable, and can you alter the course, all right? And that was a big reason why I think Arsenal was able to overcome was Raya in those big moments. When he needed to make a save, he made a save. So, credit where credit's due. Arsenal, of course, they've been flying. Arteta and them boys, really, some switch flipped about 2 years ago with that team, and they just seem to have figured it out, and they've been, back to the Arsenal we knew and loved when we were growing up, during the 2000s. So, yeah, Arsenal gets it done. They beat Porto. They advance to the quarters. Barcelona is on fire right now. They're back in business. All right, they are back in business. Still dealing with some injuries, of course, to, Pedri, to Gavi, but, La Masia is just a factory. All right, La Masia is a factory, and they just keep on coming. So, yeah, Barcelona gets it done. 3-1 over Napoli. Blew them out of the water. All right, Fernand Lopez, and Joao Cancelo scored very early on in the first 20 minutes of this game, and then Napoli was just playing from behind. They never really could get into that second gear, and Barca did a really good job. Lua puts it to bed. Of course, they got the 3-1 win. They advanced to quarters. Atletico, how would they do? With Simeone, did he have some black magic, ladies and gentlemen? One more time on Wednesday, and yes, the answer was yes, he did. All right, Memphis Depay. I want to give a shout out to Memphis because he changed this game. From the moment he entered this game, and it felt kind of ominous, right? Probably felt ominous if you were an Inter fan, right? Because you were like, they kept flashing to Memphis, and they were like, yo, they did the crowd sign of the fan. It was like, okay, Memphis is coming. And then Memphis arrived, all right? He got the goal to really help send this thing to pins in the first place. And then extra time came and went. And then Atletico, like I said, Diego Simeone it's similar to Tuchel in a way. He makes his team just rise to the occasion in those big moments, especially in the Champions League. And it happened again. Went to pins, like I said. back and forth, but then Inter went cold from the spot. And then when they needed one, you want to send Lautaro Martinez up there, the captain, the talisman for Inter Milan. You want to send him up there to put the finishing touches on. And unfortunately, it was just not his night. The captain for Inter skies it, and it's misery for them. And Atletico can celebrate into the nights. And Madrid is on fire. So yeah. Congratulations to him. Came from behind in this one. They were a goal down at the start. Went down early as well. Griezmann got it right back 2 minutes later, right before halftime. And then, like I said, Memphis got the goal that sent us into extra time. And then they showed up big time in penalties. So, yeah, congratulations to Diego and Atletico. Dortmund took care of PSV. I mean, that's really all I have to say. Jadon Sancho started early and often. He has been looking much. I don't know what it is. He needs to stay in Germany, I guess, or just stay in a Dortmund kit because he is just different gravy when he is in that kit. He's a different breed. He is a much better player when he is at Dortmund than he was at Manchester United. I don't know if it's just a better fit stylistically or what it is. All right, he's just better. All right, just better. He's starting to regain form. He's got a goal here that really put Dortmund on top. And then Marco Reus, who came in for Sancho after Sancho got a little bit of a hammy knock, put the finishing touches on. And yeah, Dortmund gets the win. PSV goes out in the round of 16, but Dortmund still, I guess, looking like the weak link. If we're talking weak link here in the quarters, but a very interesting draw. Because a lot of people believe that the top 4 teams all ended up on the same side of the bracket, which we're going to be talking about a whole lot of brackets, ladies and gentlemen, in this episode. Real Madrid versus City, which is probably the 2 favorites, right? The 2 favorites, the greatest team historically, right, in this competition versus the reigning champs, all right, who just won the treble and look just as good. All right, so Real Madrid City is going to be insane. Real Madrid needs to stop having their stars, aka Vinny, get suspended or get injured. All right, they need to be fully healthy as possible in 2 weeks when this tie kicks off. So yeah, they needed to get it together. But yeah, Real Madrid City is going to be insane. Arsenal, welcome back to the quarterfinals. Who do you get in return? The team that knocked you out last time, Bayern. All right, Bayern versus Arsenal. That's also going to be a really good tie. 2 really well-balanced teams. 2 teams that have been showing up big time in the big moments here in Champions League. Even if Bayern hasn't been doing as great domestically, but like I said earlier, Tuchel just gets those boys in a different mode for Champions League. So yeah, Arsenal, Bayern going to be very, very good. PSG and Barca. Last time Mbappe went to the Camp Nou, that did not end well for Barca. He had a hat trick. We will see if he has the magic again. Of course, they've been hyping that new young center back as could he be the Mbappe stopper? So we gonna see. All right, we gonna see because he is very much. We're gonna talk about this very much. So still the very best player on this planet. So yeah, we're gonna see about that. But PSG Barca should be very interesting. Barca in form, PSG in form. Let's see what happens. And then Atletico versus Dortmund, which is probably the best tie possible for both of these teams. Because I guess they're the quote unquote weak links out of the other 6. So we'll see what happens. Can Dortmund pull off some magic, pull off the upset, or if Atletico can keep flying in the Champions League? So we will see. All right, but yeah, the UCL heating up as we get to the quarters. Other things that happen in soccer: the MLS returned this week, and Kellen Acosta scored one of the most insane goals I have ever seen in my life. The win in Chicago is crazy. Honestly, Lake Michigan should get an assist for that one. For those that haven't seen it, all right. He shot the ball just to clear it from damn near the half-yard line, right? It curved in air. If you can find the sideways goal-to-goal view, you'll see it. It literally curves in air and then dips back down into the goal. It was one of the craziest goals. It was a FIFA, put the sliders all the way up on shot accuracy type goal. So yeah, that was insane. MLS back to, being the MLS. In Miami, the old boys, the old Barca boys have been doing bits. So nothing crazy there. Harry Kane is at 31 goals. Good God. All right, he has broken the record for most goals in a debut season for the Bundesliga. Good God. And still, that's not going to probably, mark or equal Lewis 41. He might get that record at the end of the year, but not in the amount of games. So, yeah, credit to Lua. He got robbed of Ballon d'Or. Kylian Mbappe had a hat-trick versus Montpellier the other day. So, yeah, Kylian's still the best player in the world. And, ladies and gentlemen, that is soccer. And that brings me to, ladies and gentlemen, NFL free agency. We're going to let college basketball get the main event tonight. All right. But NFL free agency, listen, Been some chaos. Honestly, I did a nice little recap, so we are going to just kind of insert this video, this little clip I posted on TikTok right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the most wonderful time of the year to be an NFL agent. All right, it is like Christmas. Of course, it is week 1, I guess we can call this, of an NFL free agency, and well, we've had some winners like Kirk Cousins' agent, who got this man a 4-year, $180 million contract to the Atlanta Falcons off of a torn Achilles, which, I mean, I have to a round of applause, you at home, round of applause to Kirk Cousins' agent. We've also, of course, had some losers like Justin Fields' trade value, which is now sitting somewhere between a UFL 4th rounder and cash considerations. By the way, Ryan Poles and the Bears have been cooking. They just got Keenan Allen yesterday for a 4th rounder, which who the hell is Justin Herbert supposed to throw to? I mean, is Jay Herbo supposed to throw to himself? Is Justin Herbert going to be throwing to Jay Herbo? Because I don't know who they got left on there besides Josh Palmer. And Quentin Johnston after the rookie season, be great. But the Bears have been cooking. They also got DeAndre Swift. So Caleb should have a plethora of weapons, setting him up for, success where the Bears have failed before. The Eagles made one of the biggest signings of the entire free agency period when they signed Saquon Barkley, continuing to get better for 3 years, essentially $38 million. Of course, in return, my Dallas Cowboys, I actually made a nice collage that I'm about to show you of everybody the Dallas Cowboys have signed so far in free agency. Yep, absolutely fucking nobody. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but absolutely fucking nobody. The Ravens signed King Henry, which, makes them only better. I think that's a really good spot, by the way, for Derrick Henry. Of course, we'll talk more about this on episode 188. But King Henry to the Ravens, good spot. Him and Lamar in the backfield could be very, very dangerous. The Packers did one of the grimiest moves, I think, of free agency we've seen so far. Picking up Josh Jacobs, cutting Aaron Jones. So in return, Aaron Jones goes to Minnesota. We will see how that goes. That's going to be very, very spicy once we get to the season. And to end us off, besides Aaron Donald retiring, the Raiders, Antonio Pierce meant it when he was going with the Mahomes rules. They're actually trying to kill Pat. So they went and got Christian Wilkins for 4 years, $110 million. The boy got paid. And AFC West, y'all better be getting an offensive line because the Raiders are looking disgusting up there in that front 7. But, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about more in episode 188, but a quick little preview of week 1. So, it's been a very interesting week. Once again, the Cowboys still have not signed anybody. Kirk Cousins' agent, once again, is still looking like agent of the year, but we have had some things happen since. All right, we have had some things, especially in the Steelers Justin Fields situation. So you remember how it was like Justin Fields is trade value somewhere between a UFL 4th rounder, cash considerations. Well, I wasn't too far off because they traded him for a 6th rounder that has a conditional clause of playing time that may become a 4th rounder. So very interested to see how that works. But Justin Fields going to the Steelers. So him and Russ, going to be very interesting to see how that works. Because it kind of feels like, right, because does Russ start? Because I feel like if you're bringing in Russ you're assuming Russ still has it, he should start. But if you're bringing in Justin, you still think that he can be a future star in this league, and with some development, he should be the guy. But having them both is very, very interesting. I get iron sharpens iron, but do you really want Fields? I mean, what does that say about his development if he has to sit behind Russ this year? And even more, for Russ, if he doesn't beat out Fields, Russ is just washed, right? That means Russ is washed. Though for Pittsburgh, it's a perfect situation, right? You're not paying Russ that, $38 million or whatever Denver's having to pay him, right? You only have to pay him the vet min. So this is fine with you. You get a young quarterback. If he beats him out, even better. If you sit him, then hey, maybe he'll buy in, with Mike Tomlin. So we will see what happens, but very interesting. Justin Fields does get traded. Not for much though. But he is free from the Bears, which of course means that Caleb Williams, congratulations, you are a Chicago Bear. Now, you probably heard me not mention the 3rd quarterback of that Steelers piece, and that would be Kenny Pickett. So where the hell is Kenny Pickett going? He's going to the Eagles, which, welcome to a career, which is what, honestly, I thought Kenny was going to be coming out of college. I never for 1 second thought he was going to be a star. I thought he was a good college quarterback. He had a great last season at Pittsburgh, but he was never going to be a franchise quarterback. That was a horrific quarterback draft. And yeah, I think he'll just be a career backup, which, you can make some good money and you can, still build a little bit of a legacy in that way. So we will see. He'll back up Jalen Hurts in Philly. I think it's a good move for Philly. Philly has made nothing but good moves in free agency, but, they've won the offseason a couple times the past couple years, and it hasn't, resulted in a Super Bowl. So we will see what happens. On the other hand, the Dallas Cowboys, like I said, have signed absolutely nobody, but we will see what else happened. OBJ is leaving the Ravens. Don't know what's going to happen now for him. Tyron Smith going to, I believe, the Jets, which I think is a really good move for whatever quarterback they end up with, whether it's A-Rod, whether they draft one, whatever the situation is. They needed some protection to help out there. Smith, when healthy, is still one of the best left tackles in the league. I will miss him dearly in Dallas, but hey, he's got to do what he's got to do. So yeah, free agency still cooking in week 1. We will see what happens in week 2 as we get through some of these pro days and as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. Now, entertainment. Invincible is back. Yes, finally. Season 2, episode 5. My only problem is why in the was the break so long? Why? I get it for the animation and you want it to be good, and hey, I guess if that's the sacrifice, we lose a couple months for a better animation and a better product, then that's fine, right? Not that Invincible has ever, put out a bad product. The show went viral for a reason. It's held in such a high regard for a reason, and this was another tremendous, one of the best episodes probably of the series. It just sucks that the momentum kind of stalled and they're kind of starting again, right? We got to rebuild that momentum, but what a way to rebuild it, all right, in this episode. The Lizard League, all right, they was getting cooked all season 1, right? They were they were the joke, right? That was the team the heroes were joking about. Oh, the Lizard League's coming, right? Well, the Lizard League finally showed up, all right? They showed up and boy, they had Rex in Alcatraz, bro. They had Rex in getting mixed. I mean, he was getting mixed. He was literally fighting for his life because I have no idea what the big lizard is. I don't even know if he's named. He probably is named in like the lore, but even when I read the comics, I don't remember him like getting a name. But just you know the scene. All right, you've probably seen it by now if you've seen the episode. If you haven't, why are you listening? But if you've seen the episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That was one of the most brutal deaths. All right. I forgot that happened in the comics, so I was like, dang. But yeah, Ray, we always do that. What if Ant-Man just crawled into Thanos' mouth and expanded? Well, you see, the thing about being indestructible is your insides are also indestructible. So yeah, a brutal death for shrinking Ray as she climbed into the Lizard League giants, and that did not go out well. She got eaten. And it was brutal. One of the sickest scenes in Invincible, in a series full of 6 scenes, and a lot of 6 scenes still to come. Kate also got mixed. I saw somebody say, which is a really good point. What is the difference with Kate? Besides the fact she can duplicate herself, right? She's just a regular human that can fight. So she's not invulnerable to some of these super, human or, alien attacks. So that's what happened. She ran out of duplicates, got caught up, and got smashed brutally. We'll see how that goes down with the rest of the team. But yeah, Rex loses his hand. Of course, that sets up, if you don't know already, for him to get the cannon hand and, whole redemption arc for Rex. But yeah, Lizard League got their lick back. Everybody is in space. Cecil kind of underestimated. Mark returned home with Oliver. So Oliver, we will get to see. That's going to be very fun to see how that storyline goes down with the general public. But yeah, Invincible's back. Another really, really good episode. I finished One Day on Netflix, featuring Dexter and M. What a tragic story. What a tragic show. A very good show. A very, 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 very good show. All right, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. All right, spoiler alert on everything I'm saying as always. Right, skip ahead. Okay, don't spoil yourself. But yeah, a very tragic ending. I did not expect M to go out like that. I did not expect her to go out like that at all. Certainly not. I thought maybe she might die at the end of the last episode, but no. And I thought she was just going to get up from that car accident. She might be paralyzed or something, but no. I did not expect her to die like that so suddenly. But I think it was kind of fitting with kind of the narrative of Dex and M and them just kind of pushing each other away and the push and pull and just kind of dynamics of that relationship. So I think it was still very fitting, a very good narrative. And yeah, I think it was very well acted, a very good show. So yeah, shout out to One Day. I do give it the cosign. JT, all right, Timberlake, he's back. He came back with everything I thought I was. I'm not going to give a rating because I'm only do first listen and it wouldn't be accurate. He could have definitely gone. I don't know why the hell Selfish was a single. Why was Selfish a single? He could have had way more momentum and probably sold way more copies if he did not start off this entire rollout with Selfish, okay? Because that should have just been like a B-side cut. I think it'd been more well regarded if it had just been like a B-side, I'm talking K terms, or just another album cut, right? A nice little album, cool down. I think it'd been fine there, but you should have definitely ran F Up the Disco or No Angels, which ended up being one, or Infinity Sex as one of the singles, right? That could have been the lead single. Would have been fire. Would have been fire. But yeah, overall, I think he did a really, really good job. Sanctified with Tobe as well was one of my favorite tracks. So yeah, a very, very good album. Probably in the 8s for me. All right. I'm not going to give it an official rating though, but yeah, JT, very, very good. Very, very good. Him and Usher dropped some solid albums, for aging pop stars. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Deep in the Water, shout out to Don Toliver. He had his first kid with Cali and then dropped another fire track. Again, I don't know if this is building up to an album. I think it is. I'm very intrigued because he's dropped some good stuff in the build up to this. So yeah, Deep in the Water feat Don, very, very good. And PRADA DEM, Gunna and Offset, not the greatest Gunna and Offset, on this, but still very solid track. Nothing too crazy though. But yeah, definitely not the best of Gunna and Offset, but solid. All right, it was solid. And of course, Rolling Loud's going on. I heard some mixed reviews, but Rolling Loud. It's a very good event. If you haven't, hip hop fan, go check it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event of the evening. All right, welcome to the main event of the evening. College basketball, because it has to be the main event, all right? Has to be the main event because we are fully into March now. It is March 18th, so it is time to get mad, right? Conference championship time, and would they bring the chaos? Of course. Of course it would bring the chaos. Come on. What would this be if it didn't bring the chaos, all right? What if it didn't get mad? And we gonna start off with the ACC because this fits real close to home, all right? Now, after the NC State Wolfpack took out my Duke Blue Devils, of course, bringing me to misery. By the way, if you want free money, listen to me. When it happens later this week, don't get up in arms. Don't text me like, oh, Chris, listen. If you want free money, Vermont is going to beat Duke. They're going to beat us. All right? We are going to lose in round 1. It's that year. It's that year. Y'all just got to trust me on this. Vermont is taking Duke out. Just watch. All right, it's going to happen. Free money. You're welcome. But anyway, State took us out. By the way, State won 5 games in 5 days to win the ACC championship, which is an accomplishment on itself, besides the fact that they basically had to go through murder's row. All right, they beat VA. They beat Duke. And then in the championship, they beat the heavily favored North Carolina Tar Heels, which made me very, very happy, man, on St. Patrick's Day. 84-76, and they never let Carolina get control of this game. I mean, not once did they let Carolina get control of this game. RJ Davis did everything he could. The ACC Player of the Year did everything he could, showed why he's going to be a first rounder, I believe, in the NBA draft this year, or absolutely should be. All right, the shot making was on. He was making every floater possible in the second half. I felt like he scored all of his dirty in the last 8 minutes. All right, it was gross. It was scary. It was terrifying. So credit where credit's due to RJ Davis. He did everything he could. Hell, Armando Bacot, old man Bacot, showed up in this game. He had 18 and 12. I'm not even going to slander Armando for this game. He showed up. He really showed up the last 2 games. But yeah, Mondo showed up. It's just State was better. All right, Kevin Keats and this team were not going to be denied. They were making the tournament, and they were winning the ACC tournament by any means necessary. DJ Horn played a phenomenal game, 29 points. He showed up big time. DJ Burns won ACC tournament most outstanding player. He had 24 and 7. Big 30 was big 30. Against 30 and just causing all types of havoc for opponents throughout this, nobody had an answer, all right? Nobody had an answer all tournament long for him. So yeah, credit where credit's due to Burns for getting it done. Diarra, who's going through Ramadan right now, 11 points, 14 boards, 3 steals and 3 blocks. He was another big reason, all right? That interior force of Burns and Diarra were big time. As much as Horn and the guards and the wings did work and made shots where necessary, all of that dirty work in the interior in the ACC tournament was done by Darren Burns. That was a big reason why State and Keats were able to get it done. All right, it was a big reason. So credit where credit's due to both of those guys. Because they were a big reason that fueled this team in this Carolina game, but also throughout versus Duke, versus Virginia, versus everybody. So yeah, credit to the boys in Raleigh. They got it done. It was a great week for Breon Pass. Won the ACC tournament. Then he watched Reedsville, Kendra Harrison, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Going to go down as one of the best players, the state of North Carolina's probably ever seen. Won the state championship. So, yeah. And the only good thing for me as a Duke fan was seeing Slim win the state championship. So, yeah. ACC, State causes havoc, steals a spot. It's going to be very key. Iowa State took on Houston in the Big 12 championship. Kansas, of course, is still reeling with no Hunt and no Kevin, which has them on upset alert as we get to the tournament. So what would happen here? Houston was a buzzsaw, all right? They were a lot of people thought they were, and I said it, they were the only number one seed that looked like they were standing on business this entire week until the championship. 69-41. Iowa State did Houston like Houston's been doing these teams, all right? They got locked down. And I got to give a lot of credit to the freshman Mahan Maklovich, from Iowa State. He had 18 in this game. He was big time. All right, he was big time. Big time. Milan had it going. He was the leading scorer for Iowa State. He was that catalyst offensively and how we get them done. And of course, played very well, very well defensively. Houston had shot 27% from the field. 27. Shot 18% from three. That is not going to win you any game. Certainly not here in March. So yeah, Houston brought back down to earth. Like I said, they are not inflammable. All right, a lot of people thought, okay, yeah, they're running away as championship favorites. No, sir. All of these teams, even UConn, who's the number one team we're about to talk about, has a weakness. Everybody's got a weakness. Everybody's got a price. It just depends on who they're playing. And Iowa State had Houston's number. They win the Big 12. UConn, like I said, they win the Big East. Klingon had 22-16. Newton had 13-10. That's all I really need to say. This was the game, by the way. Klingon looked like the player we thought he was going to make that jump into B this year. He didn't necessarily do that. But if he can play like this in March, then that will certainly help his draft stock. And we'll see what happens there. But yeah, UConn wins the Big East. They'll be the number one overall seed in the men's tournament. Auburn gets the win in the SEC tournament, which was a madness. All right, Tennessee lost. Kentucky lost. Basically, everybody that was a favorite in this tournament lost, which left us with Florida on a Cinderella story. And Auburn, with Bruce Pearl in the story, lost his brother earlier this year. So, very emotional game for him. With the hopes of, winning in his honor. And he did just that, all right? Auburn, they were the best team in the SEC tournament. And, they ended the Cinderella story of Florida. They get the win 86-67. Broome had 19 and 11. But I think when Michael went down for Florida, with that, again, one of the worst injuries visually, at the very least. You can probably just say one of the worst injuries you can have in sports, but certainly one of the worst visually, especially in basketball, just because of the nature, is a compound fracture to the leg. It is the worst injury to see, really, in any sport, especially in basketball, though. But in soccer, really anywhere. It's a horrifically visible and visual injury, especially when, we have a situation like Micah had, so prayers to him, with the, bone sticking through the blood. It was just, it was horrific. You rarely, you usually see it, bend, the ugly, bend in the bone, maybe. You've seen it like Kevin Ware. Rarely do you literally hear the pop. The pop was so loud, I heard it through the, screen. So, that was rough. And I don't think Florida ever really kind of recovered after that. So, hey, tough situation. Really, really tough situation for them. But, prayers to Micah and wishing him the best in his recovery. Hopefully, he's back and ready at some point next year or next season. But Auburn gets the momentum. They win the SEC. Terrence Shanahan Jr. That's all I got to say. That is all I got to say. He dropped 40 in the semi, and then he dropped 34 to give Illinois the win over Wisconsin, 93-87, after Wisconsin took out Purdue the day before. But yeah, Shanahan just would not be stopped. All right? Or not Shanahan. Shannon would not be stopped. All right? TSJ he's that guy. I mean, he's supposed to be that guy because it's his 5th year and it's his 3rd year of national relevancy. So he's supposed to be doing what he's doing, but it's still credit where credit's due for living up to that expectation and being the star and looking like he's not supposed to be here. He looks like he's supposed to be in the league right now, and this is child's food. That's what the the Big Ten championship was for him. All right, he was killing. All right, absolute kill mode. Domask as well played a very good game for the Illini. 26, 7, and 8. Store had 24. Chucky Hepburn had 25 and 5 for the Badgers, but it wasn't enough. The Fighting Illini, like I said, they get it done. They win the Big Ten and take a lot of momentum, all right? Sometimes in March, it's that one player that can, really change games and put teams on a run. We've seen it countless times. Terrence Shannon looks like he might be that guy this year for this Illinois team, and he might be able to take them pretty far. So we will see. But of course, that can always be, it can always get mad. There can always be upsets. But yeah, they got a lot of momentum riding into this. Other things that happened in Conference Championship Week before we talk about these brackets. Kent State and Akron. What a nightmare for Kent State. What a nightmare. You get the go-ahead, and then an intentional foul to put them at the line to help Akron win. Just devastating. Just a devastating event, that Kent State-Akron game. That would be, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine being in that locker room. So yeah, that was rough. Oregon takes out Colorado. Jackson Shilstad, Nafale Dotson. The talent caught up to Oregon. All right. Oregon's talent finally peaked during the Pac-12 championship, which was big. Very, very big. I think that was a team that was underperforming. They should be a top 25 team if we're talking based on talent, what they got there in Oregon, but haven't necessarily been that this year. They're far from the most disappointing team in the Pac-12. Of course, that goes to USC. But yeah, Oregon still probably should have been a little bit better than they have been, but played a lot better in this game. They get it done. Yale, of course, had that game winner against Brown, which was very thrilling. So yeah, and that brings us to the tournament. UConn, like I said, is the number 1 overall seed. I think it's going to get mad. That's pretty much the best thing I can tell you. I'm not even really making any predictions. I haven't gone through my bracket yet. I don't have a Final Four. I don't have any predictions. My prediction is the same prediction it has been all year. Even looking at this bracket and how unbalanced it is for, let's say, one UConn, by the way, who got the top 2 seed, the top 3 seed, and top 4 seed all in the same bracket, which is so tough. But yeah, there's no predictions, no championship predictions, none of that. No. My prediction for March Madness is that it's going to be mad. It might even be a little bit madder than last year. All right, it's going to be upsets galore. It is going to be chaos. It is going to be beautifully destructive. All right, it's going to be everything we believe in March Madness. All right. Do not pick chalk. All of these teams are beatable. Every last one in this tournament. I don't care if it's the number 1 overall seed to the team that barely got in on the bubble. Every single team is beatable. Every team has their strengths. Every team has their weakness. There is no dominant team. There's not even really elite teams in this tournament this year. There are good teams. There are a bunch of teams that can win this thing. It just depends on who they play, and it depends on how they play. That's it. That's it. There's no dominant player. Zach Edey is the best player in college basketball. I think we all agree. But how many times have we seen Purdue get let down? Hell, he was the dominant player last year, and they got beat by a 16 seed. Expect chaos. That is the best thing I can tell you if you haven't filled out your tournament bracket yet. Expect chaos. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is coming, all right? And get ready, break out the tissues, because it's going to get ugly at the end of this week, all right? I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to get ugly. Starting on Thursday, it's going to get real ugly, but it is the most wonderful time of the year. So we will see, but I believe it's going to get very, very mad in March. The women's bracket also came out. I don't know why they don't do this the week before, but I guess they do it at the same time the tournaments are, so, touche. Iowa got screwed. All right, listen, if Iowa wins the national championship, which I don't think they will, honestly, I don't even know if they're making the Final Four. If Iowa wins the national championship, Caitlin Clark is the greatest women's basketball player ever. And the college level, not professionally, obviously. At the college level, she's the GOAT. I will give her the GOAT. If Iowa somehow runs what is the gauntlet, to put it lightly, the absolute gauntlet here, and wins the national championship this year, she is the GOAT. I will give that over Brianna, over Cheryl, over whoever. Maya, I'll give it to her. She got it. Because, the gauntlet. They have, for those that do not know, the defending national champions who beat them, right, in the national championship last year. They got LSU as the 3 seed. They've got UCLA as the 2 seed. They've got Kansas State, who's beaten them 2 out of the last 3 times, and they've played the past 2 seasons. In Ioka League. Got them. And they might have to play them Sweet 16. You got West Virginia talking real crazy, even though they got to beat Princeton first. Talking about they want to take them off. You got Colorado as the 5 seed. Drake, one of the best mid-majors, is the 12 seed. It's loaded. If they win the national championship, she's the GOAT. Because they might get beat in the Sweet 16. It's a bloodbath. All right, an absolute bloodbath. South Carolina, it's a little bit better. You know, you got to deal with Notre Dame, but I think they should be all right making it to the Final Four. Texas's bracket's a little bit more of a toss-up. Texas finished really well. Madison Booker is one of them ones, but they do have to deal with Stanford and NC State and Rakia Jackson playing for her life in Tennessee. So we'll see what happens there. USC, Ohio State, you got to deal with as the number 2 seed. Of course, Juju finished well. And of course, the X factor there is UConn is the 3 seed and Paige Buckers has nothing to lose. Duke is also here. Virginia Tech. If Liz Kitley can come back, you got Virginia Tech as a 4 seed. If Liz can get healthy, I don't know how long she's supposed to be gone, but if she can get healthy, oh God, that's almost as bad as the Albany 2. All right, so yeah, we gonna see. But like I said, if Caitlin in Iowa, if they somehow win this, she's the GOAT. All right, because that is one of the most brutal brackets I've ever seen a number 1 seed get. That is just, good God. That's 4 different teams in that bracket have been number 1 in the country at some point in time this year. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. We will see what happens. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to March Madness. It's about to get hectic. All right, it's about to get real hectic. Now to finish us off, ladies and gentlemen, as we have finally reached the Roundup. Denny Hamlin gets it done at Bristol. Should be a very good one. All right, it was a very good race. Bristol usually delivers. Denny got it done late. And yeah, Denny doing Denny things. Nothing else really else to say there. F1, of course, was on break. They're back in Aussie this week, so we'll talk about that then. But for racing this week, Denny gets it done. Only thing I want to talk about in the NBA is Kyrie Irving. It's Kyrie Irving. I'm not going to sit here and munch like everybody else and say, oh my gosh, Kyrie, you've heard it like 50 million times at this point. Kyrie, the most talented player to ever pick up a basketball. All right, but that game winner was crazy. I do want to talk about the Mavs. All right. I would love for this to be the year that it just clicks and they make a run. And it could be. All right, it could be. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. All right? Because Kyrie and Luka, it sounds good, it looks good, but is it good? When it matters, can they make it happen? They've got some good pieces around those two as well. Is this the year for Dallas? All right, that's the question I have for y'all and the question I want answered as we go forward. But yeah, Kyrie makes an insane game winner. Jalen Green is still doing Jalen Green things. We've talked about him for a couple weeks, which is a nice change for JG to see him kind of make a little bit of a star jump, really, since I guess he got Drea pregnant. I don't know if the father strength or what kicked in, or he knows he's got to go get that max, but he's been moving different. The Rockets are kind of surging. It was a great pastime as, ladies and gentlemen, LeBron scored 40, but the Warriors won. How many times have we heard that before? And to end off, we had a UFC fight night this week. Tybura subbed Tai and Tai Tuisava in round 1. He has now been finished 4 straight times. Listen, I don't know if Tai has it anymore. I think it's time for you to go Shuey in retirement. I don't think you got it anymore, brother. And let's be honest, you weren't winning the championship anyway. Thank you for your contributions, and you were a very entertaining fighter, though you're not a Hall of Famer. But thank you for your service, but I think it's time to call it a career. Tybura gets the win. We will see what happens. Heavyweight, of course, is always in a state of flux, but we will see, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to March. All right, it is truly March now. St. Patty's Day has come and passed. I hope you got lucky. I kind of did. But yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed. Ocho signing off.